students who are in SWAC, or school within a college, who are 18 plus and enrolled in a SWAC program, are they eligible for PLAR? And the only way a student would be eligible for PLAR is if they meet the eligibility requirements, and that they are over the age of 18, they have been out of school off a regular day school register for 10 months, and have fewer than 26 credits and are pursuing their OSSD. So it's one of the side notes is someone asked whether or not what the benefits are SWAC versus PLAR. And with my responsibility with re-engagement, I do look at all the students who have been demitted from our board. We look at their demit date, and we see when they're PLAR eligible and at what point should we re-engage them into the system. So I do believe that PLAR is probably more beneficial for students than SWAC, but I think it's a great combination to have PLAR and then put someone to the SWAC program, which is what we do here in Limestone. So I hope that answers people's questions about SWAC and eligibility. The other question was, would students in a Con Ed program for 18 to 21-year-olds with regular day school funding be eligible for PLAR? And again, the answer is no. The student is over the age of 18, but because they have been on a regular day school register, they are ineligible. So if we just move to the next slide, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do that? Where? So the answer to both those questions are no, you must be 18 years of age or older, out of a regular day school for 10 months, and you must be pursuing your OSSD. Another question that came to us was with the SECA, or the Senior Equivalent Credit Application.
Can we just ask a question again? Sorry.
Absolutely.
Oh, Lindsay,
sorry, I just wanted to add that in Hamilton Wentworth, they've actually used Con Ed as part of their student success strategy. So if you have a student with low credit counts who is, at 17 years old, they will have them go into Con Ed programs first, and then when eligible based on the year or 10 months out and 18, they will do PLAR and then put them in a SWAC program, which I'm coming from a different board, I thought was a brilliant idea.
Yes,
that Hamilton was
don't
doing.
have Con in my board. Sorry, you're absolutely correct. We don't have a Con Ed day school or Con Ed register program in our school. We have what's called the teacher-assisted self-study, and that's a Wednesday evening program. So when I'm looking at the demit dates and the eligibility, I certainly do not tell students to go away for 10 months and come back. We do direct them to other non-credit programs in the board. So whether that would be to get some LBS support and then to come back, I also will say to someone, the student has been out for 8 months, would you be able to host them in your building and support them but not put them on the register? Or we do move them to our teacher-assisted self-study program, which is a correspondence self-study register, and therefore they can actually work on the senior credits that they require so that when they are PLAR eligible, we move them back into a day school program. So you're right, absolutely. We find a whole bunch of different ways to keep them off the register for those 10, a day school register where we still have them actively engaged in some sort of programming. For the 11, 12s, I'm just kidding, was a SECA question, and it was, can I grant a Native Studies equivalent credit for a student who has grown up in an FNMI community? And the question is, absolutely you can. What you would have to do would take some work on your part as the PLAR assessor, and what you would have to do is create expectation or evidence-based sheets that actually ask questions of the student directly related to the curriculum, and then you can grant it as a senior equivalent credit. So if we move sort of to the next slide, what we would say is that you have to sort of look at the overall expectations of a particular course, and you would have to ask the student guiding questions. And so a guiding question could be related to a topic, for example, in parenting of child development or rearing. And depending on the expectation, you can ask the questions and have the student answer them. And if you feel that the student can answer those questions successfully, then I think you can feel justified in granting that equivalent credit. You would, again, depending on what your what the expectation was, whether it was a college course or an academic or an open course, you would adjust the level of the, the depth of your questions accordingly. And again, you can have the student complete the evidence sheet with you, or they can take it home and do it as part of an assignment or as something that they would do to earn the credit. So if we go to the next slide, an example would be the parenting, and there are some evidence sheets. One of the questions on this evidence sheet would be, what do you do to encourage the healthy development of your child or children before and after, during birth, and the first few months after birth? So you would actually, if you wanted to, ask the question. This is meeting one of the overall expectations or specific expectations of the course. And I don't know, is this a hyperlink, Lori?
Yes, I can hyperlink it to the actual evidence sheet for HPC 3.0.
And you can see there are a series, again, series of questions that you can answer. Again, I mean, to go back to the 9-10, this is certainly something the principal can do. The principal can create the expectation sheets based on certain 9-10 courses. They wanted to have the student demonstrate the key expectations. Again, they can do the same thing. They're just looking for that student to show that they can produce evidence. Again, we're not giving them marks. They're not challenging. It's an equivalent credit.
It's just thinking. My computer's just thinking. I'm not sure why it's taking so long to.
I believe on the KESBO wiki and on the KESBO website, there are samples of these evidence sheets. Marianne, correct me, but I think Marianne, most of these were developed in Simcoe originally, and they've been very, very helpful. So again, it's for a student who comes in and says, I don't have anything. I've done nothing. I don't feel that there's anything that I've done in my life. And then you find out through conversation that they are a parent and they have children. You can sit down and have a conversation.
Okay, so here you can see the document, and you'll see I've hyperlinked it within it. So if I look down to raising healthy children and click on it, it should show you that particular page, and it has all the questions there.
You can see, if you can go back to the parenting or raising healthy children, you can see one of the very first questions. That's okay. It's very simple as, list the names and birth dates of your children and attach a copy of their birth certificate. Describe the configuration of your family, nuclear, step.
Sorry, Andrea.
That's okay. But they're very, and again, as I said, it's something you can certainly do with the student while they're sitting with you if you have that time, or it's something that the student can take home. And again, remember, they are earning a credit, so there's nothing wrong with them having to put in a little work. What did you do to encourage the healthy development of your child? So there's lots of, these are meeting the specific and overall expectations of the course. Any questions on these evidence sheets? So we would just go to the next thing. When we were at our KESBA presentation in February, we looked at a couple of different equivalent matching careers that we wanted to get the codes for, and we have put those courses together for you: the farmer, chambermaid, general laborer, someone who's managed learning disabilities, and we've added it to that bank of careers that we gave out to you. You can find this either at KESBA, and the link is below. Now, I just want to say, I know that when I was talking to Lori and we were sort of going through these, and we were adding some equivalent. Again, general laborer, if you go, we have in there someone who's sort of in construction, and there's some other equivalent credits that you might be able to get under the construction area. Or chambermaid, there may be a sort of another career bank that we've already developed where you can find some additional, more specific credit codes that you might be looking for a particular job. Again, it's just an idea of credits that are available to you to choose from, but by no means are you obligated. If there's 10 beside chambermaid, you're not obligated to give the student 10 credits based on just because there's 10 listed there.
Shall I open the hyperlink?
Pardon me?
Should I open the link?
No.
Sorry, did you say no or yes?
I said no.
Okay, sorry, thanks. Okay. So those are all updated now. Andrea went through with myself, and we attached the courses that you had suggested, and now they're updated into that bank of careers. And if someone develops additional experiences, then please feel free to send them on to us, and we can include them as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Should I move to the next slide?
We'll move to the next one. So what we wanted to share with you today, too, are some resources for out of province. And there's just different guides and resources that are available to you. There is, if we go to there, this one's sort of near the end. We'll go to the next credit, which is Canada eSchool. And under Canada eSchool, you'll find that it has listed every single province. Can we get there? And what you can do is in the drop down, you can go in and find the province that you're looking for, and it will actually give you material that, or reference to courses that would be equivalent to those in Ontario. So if you're looking at someone, as I say, from Alberta, so if we go to the next slide, and you're trying to find out whether or not what their course code is related to, you can see that their college prep English is coded EL23, and then it's equivalent to the grade 11 college level English. So if you go down to the fourth one, you can see. In Alberta, grade 10 courses are coded as 1O. In Alberta, grade 11s are coded as 2O. So that's sort of a quick guide. Lori's flipping up along really fast.
I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. I mean, it's very straightforward. There's also those CDs that were given out along. Some of you may still have those from out of province equivalents as well, and they actually give the actual description of the course. And you can go and I'm sure if you hyperlink this, it will have the description as well, so you can make sure that it's actually reflective of what the student has taken. I'll show you also at the end a provincial quickie guide that we have that sort of gives you the brief overview that if you get a transcript from someone that, for example, comes from Alberta, the transcript you will have will start in grade 10 because their high school starts at grade 10. So if you look at a transcript and think, oh, they've only done 5 grade 10s, you must remember that they've actually already done a grade 9, completed it, or they wouldn't have moved to the grade 10. So you would be granting those 8 credits from grade 9 plus those 5 sort of grade 10s that you see, and someone would have, it would go in automatically as a 13 PLEs that are already completed, and then you're looking to pick up the additional 3 in the area that the person is looking to get. And again, the difference between mature PLAR is the separation of all the credits, and then the the non-mature PLAR would be, they are so lucky they can just take someone's 23 credits and lump them all together into PLE and it's all done, whereas we have to separate the 9, 10, and the 11, 12 once they become a mature student. And the next slide does show a very detailed, excellent example of how to navigate the Quebec system. It's a great flowchart that I tend to use the second area, what to check on a transcript. It shows you at the very top the different documents that a student can actually submit to you. And then you can actually go through the different certification systems. You can see if it's a cycle 1 or 2, which is grade 7 and 8. So when you get a transcript from Quebec, usually it says cycle 3, 4, or 5, and you know that's 9, 10, or 11. You can see differences between youth codes and adult codes, and it really is an excellent chart of what you're looking for when you're going through a Quebec transcript. It's very straightforward. It's really easy to navigate. And Quebec transcripts are very difficult, but this is a really easy, quick reference guide so you can get started if you need to. The next slide does show the out-of-province ministry CDs that I was talking about. This is sort of what it looks like. Again, it's very similar to the eSchool. Lists the course codes that you would see in the province, and then it would compare to what it would be in Ontario.
And I can add, Andrea, that this information is posted on the CESPA website.
Yes, it's very easy to find and very easy to for. And then there is an out-of-province quickie guide, which is the next slide is a great reference for people. So if I use Alberta as my example again, we'll see that 1 credit is equal to 25 hours. A credit in Ontario is 110 hours. So roughly every credit that a student is granted in Alberta is equal to 5. So you would see the course code ELA20-1, and that would be equivalent to 5 credits. And so you would know that that student had earned an ENG3U in Ontario. So if I get a transcript that says 60 credits on it, I know that that person has 12 credits, but they've also got another additional 8 credits because it's not, the 9 is not included in the transcript that you'll receive. So you can see that junior high is 7 to 9 and the senior high is 10, 12. And this is a really great reference because you'll be able to note that what's missing. So if you get a transcript from British Columbia, again, the transcript you may only receive is the senior secondary, which is the 11-12. You may not get the junior, and you'll know that that student has completed 9 and 10 if they're on to senior secondary, because you might not get it all. Any questions on any of these? The Quebec one is laid out again for you in a very, very brief, quick reference, but the actual reference guide that you have for navigating the system is really straightforward. I'm showing this stuff to the computer actually as I'm looking at me because I'm talking to the computer and I'm showing my resources, and it's not really, I'm not even showing it to the mentor sitting across, the mentee sitting across the table. So, does anybody have any questions on developing evidence sheets? What any other careers or opportunities that they really don't know what to grant for students?
Okay, you're unmuted.
Is there an evidence sheet for the workplace math? I know right now what we're doing is that's sort of a credit that's given if a person has been living independently, but I'm not completely comfortable with that. Does anybody have an evidence sheet that what would you use as evidence for the workplace math?
Well, I can speak for myself. I mean, living independently would be one aspect or one part of the curriculum that I would be looking for. Any of the other job experiences that students would have, I would be looking for them to tell me were measurement or any calculations or, you know, cooking, all those sort of different things. So anything that they would talk about, any experience, they would have to reference the relationship to math. I believe there is an evidence sheet for the math on the CESPA website.
We looked for one.
You couldn't find one there?
No.
Okay. So has anybody created an evidence sheet? Do you have one in Simcoe, Marion?
Okay, sorry, I had to unmute ourselves.
No
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I knew that a lot of the original resources certainly did.
We don't have one because we virtually always have everybody do the MEL3.
I thought so, yeah.
That's what I'm used to as well, my prior board, but okay, thank you.
I think I saw that Carolyn Malozzi, you have a question?
Oh, no, I'm done.
I'm going to tell her I'm okay.
There you
I'm
go.
okay. Put my hand down.
Your hand must be tired. It's been up for 3 minutes.
I know.
What's your question?
It was from the beginning, and I don't remember what it was now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you think of it, you can ask us or ask your mentor there.
Okay.
Okay, well, maybe I will just walk through a couple more slides, and then there's still a chance to ask questions again. So let's give you a chance to think about what you may want to still talk about. For your site visit with your mentor probably has some ideas already about what to do, but some things that you may do is to walk through some PLAR assessments from start to finish. At our workshop, we did case studies, but we did the grade 9, 10 separate from the grade 11, 12, but we didn't have one profile and look at their entire trajectory. So I think that could be a useful process. And there was interest in looking at intake and tracking tools. So if you're able to share at your site how you do intake, how you track, and that can be done easily along with the full PLAR assessment walkthrough. And as Andrea mentioned, it's really important to be looking at the unique pathways of learners, and may have examples of how you do that at your site, and amongst all of you, you can talk through how you advise your folks. And then certainly it's an opportunity one-on-one to bring your own cases and questions that have come up in the last 6 weeks or months since we've met in person before, and have a chance to spark some good discussion to continue to accompany each other as we do PLAR across the province. In terms of reimbursement for your site visit, I've attached the handout of the expense claim form, and basically we want to cover your costs to be able to get to the site visit, as well as for your host to host you well with some treats perhaps and some lunch. And then if you're traveling from further away, significantly for the northern boards, we may not be able to cover your full travel cost because it may exceed $300, but we would cover one night's accommodation and a meal if you are able to find a way to gather at some point, if not today, then in the future. And this can be done on an individual basis if you're not able to find a time when everyone can get together. So this concludes the formal part of the webinar, but again, is there any questions for Andrea or any of the mentors on the call, or suggestions would be very welcome. And you can use the raise your hand, or if you're a mentor, you can just, with a group, you can speak, just unmute yourself.
Yep. We have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If a student was in a Section 23 program, so while they were whatever 15 to 18, is that considered being in a day school or not? My question comes because most Section 23 programs are tied to a regular day school mident number, or usually an alternative day school mident number.
Any thoughts on that question? Answers?
Well, I would say, first of all, it depends on the student's age. So 15 to 16, probably not, if they came back to a day school when they were sort of 17. So that year out of school doesn't count because it has to be after 18 anyway.
Right.
And now, unless, of course, they were 17 and then came back at 18, and then they had been out for 10 months when they entered the system.
Yeah, that's more the question. I probably didn't phrase it properly. So those students, are they considered, or the 18-year-old who's been, in custody and then comes out, but it was they wouldn't be over 18 if it's a section.
Yeah, I mean,
I believe are section students not part of the school board, so therefore they're fully funded students? I believe they are.
Section students are part of the
yeah.
A
Section 23 schools are, they hold the OSR of the students, so they're their own school, but they're funded differently than the regular public school.
They are. They're funded through ed services. They're not funded, or through like a special education. It's not like a regular day school funding. So I think that's sort of up individual discretion of the student, because I know we don't even have them in our regular student information system. Any information that we do enter for those students or credits are done through SDAS, like they're done in a totally different, so they're not on our day school register, even though, as you say, the OSR or the, they're attached to a home school. So, I mean, I guess I would look at the student if they're over the age of 18. I mean, if it's in their best interest, I would go ahead and then beg for forgiveness afterwards.
Section 23s are usually coordinated within the schools. Their funding, I think, comes out of a different pocket, like special ed, when you're talking about centers. So they often go through ONSIS for special funding because they need more supervision. So you'd have a teacher plus support staff, and they have to, and it is funded differently, but their curriculum, if they're getting credits, sort of comes under like student success.
Yeah,
So
well, on our board, it doesn't go in through our student management system at all. So it doesn't. It goes in through a totally different system. We can't put them into through Trillium.
Yeah, they're provincially run schools. They have separate line numbers. They're often affiliated with a board, but they're not in the same system at all.
So I would say they're not in a regular day school, a regular funded day school program.
Yeah.
So I would say they're eligible if they're over the age of 18.
You want to hear? Okay.
But, I mean, again, that's one of those things that we could certainly bring forward and ask the question.
Okay, well, I know for many of you, a full day of opportunity to talk PLAR. So just to wrap up, some updates from CESPA. CESPA depends on is a membership organization. The members are school boards. So emails and paper mail has been sent to contacts at the boards to encourage people to renew their membership with CESPA. So that's probably happening and being received by somebody else, but it's good for you to know that that is happening. Also encourage you to make sure that your site information is regularly updated on the Employment Ontario portal, the 211. That's a place where all kinds of people working with your students can, or your potential students can be looking to see what services are available for adult and con ed in their area and can be a way of students finding you. And then we have regional meetings with CESPA. There's a west, a north, an east, and a central. And that is an opportunity for all people who work in adult and con ed from member boards to attend and learn what's happening across the province and have presentations from the different funding ministries, MTCU, MCIIT, EDU, and sometimes we have Ontario Works folks there. And I know different boards tend to send different people because CESPA doesn't have a funding for it, so the cost is yours as a board to attend in terms of travel or any accommodation. But certainly, if you're interested, our website has the contact information and the agendas for those meetings, and if they're not up there yet, they'll be up there shortly. So if it's something you're interested in, you may want to pursue within your board to see if you're able to attend. And finally, we have our Brittany Howlett is our new social communications marketing person, and so she asked me to remind you that we have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and I know that there were several tweets that went out. Thank you to several of you during our PLAR workshop, but any good place for you to check and engage in CESPA. So I want to give a thank you to all of our mentors who are hosting, as well as Jen, who's hosting in Brantford, and to Andrea for helping lead us through some key pieces that have come up since our meeting in February. And today is a chance to work one-on-one with each other, and then we encourage you to ask you to stay in touch over the next few months and to be supportive and continue to share expertise across the province. And there'll be a chance for us at CESPA to send you a short survey towards the end of the spring to find out how that experience has been as a mentor and as a mentee, and any suggestions you would have as we move forward here at CESPA to try and continue to support all of you and the work around PLAR. Also to say, I know that there was a lot of concern around reporting, a lot of questions around reporting and how to trigger funding through ONSIS correctly, or so that people have the maximum funding that they're due. So I am working with ONSIS and finance and policy. We'll try and put together something in writing, quite short, but just so that the things that you heard about entering zero PLE, you have something in black and white from the ministry that's vetted by the ministry, so you can confidently go back and ensure that you're accessing all the funding that you're eligible for. So Thank you to everyone, and I wish you all a great day.
Thanks, Lori, for all your
Thank
hard work.
you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
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 Let's be.